about to do a time test of my screen. It is currently located in the trash bag, and I'm going to do 5-second intervals. So here we go. Starting. Okay, so I exposed my screen outdoors. I ran into one issue in which the angle of the sun was such that it cast a shadow as I was doing my step test. So I'm a little concerned my results might vary because some of it cast across the different lines. But I tried to be consistent in the way I did it, so I hope I still see some steps. I'm going to wash this out. If it has overexposed, meaning I have left it in the sun too long, the whole thing will be solid. But if I gave it just enough time, it should create the stencil on my screen. So I'm gonna wash that. Be sure to remove the step test or anything that you've attached to the screen. And my screen I'm using is way too big for the sink, so I'm going to just do the best I can. So be prepared with towels. It's such a big screen, I should probably use a shower. Maybe let's go try that. Okay, I'm going to try to wash it out in a shower, but you might not have access to a shower or a shower that has a removable head. I do, so I'm going to try that. But if you don't, just be patient. It might take several minutes to wash out, so we'll see. And probably wash out with cool water rather than hot. And be cautious of anything poking out. You don't want to dent your screen. So for me, I didn't let my screen sit in the sun long enough. So everything that washed out, the emulsion hadn't cured all the way. It needed more UV light and it needed to sit on that longer. And then this is what was exposed the longest. And you can see this actually wasn't coming out as much. Ideally, I would have been able to see everything. And but you can kind of see that exposed a little longer. It did take some time to wash out or rinse out, and you can see that there's some areas up here that started to come out as well. So doing this at home is not perfect, but it is possible, but you might have to do a couple tests. to find that sweet spot, especially if you're doing this with sunlight or with a clamp light or anything. If you are able to do this with a clamp light, you might be able to just have a consistent setup, and otherwise the distance of the light, the strength of the light bulb you use all makes a difference in terms of a photo-emulsion. So exposing in the sun is the fastest method, but sometimes it's harder to control. Sometimes I think if I had gone too long, this would have all had been solid. So if I waited 5 minutes, it would have been too long. I'm thinking, looking at this now, maybe I would have been fine with like 2 minutes even. It was with 5 o'clock in the afternoon shadow. So the closer you can do this to noon, I think the more sun you'll get and maybe the less time you would need. I had issues with some shadows. So like this whole area that didn't get as much time exposed to the sun just all washed out. So you want to get enough time to get the image on the screen, but not so long that the whole thing is solid. So I'm able to see some of the text, but a lot of it, started coming out. So you want to be gentle as well. If as soon as you see the image, you lessen up on the power of the shower or hose or whatever you're using to get off that, and you don't want to like really touch it all that much, because this was generally a fail. What I'll do is I'll keep in mind, I'll write down a note to see like which ones did come out the best, and some of them were pretty good. Like over here I can just make out some things, so I know that this was around 1 minute 15 seconds and these were about 50 seconds, so I probably want to do more than that. Might have to get the photo emulsion remover. Like I'm going to go ahead and see if I can just get the rest of this out for now. If you aren't able to, you would just use your photo emulsion. Once it is cured to your screen, you might have to use another kind of chemical to get it off. So those should, if you got a kit, those photo emulsion removers should come with that.